I don't really want to talk.
Welcome back to the Overthinking Podcast, the show for women navigating fitness, health, and life in a world that makes everything way more complicated than it needs to be. We're your hosts. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Bree.
And if you're here, chances are you're tired of overthinking every fitness trend that demands us to shrink and has us feeling like we're failing at a system that really never wanted to see us win.
And this podcast is your safe space for honest conversations, evidence based guidance, and permission to do things differently. So you can stop spiraling like how my tongue just did. So you can stop spiraling, start trusting yourself, and build a better version of health. Today, we're talking about something that everyone thinks they've mastered, but they absolutely have not. And maybe you've thought about your goals and you're excited to get started and you have hope. And then you just see this big old mountain in front of you and you have so far to climb to where you feel like you want to go. But before before we set your mind at ease, we'd like to play our favorite little game called This
This
or
or
That.
that. You can tell we're a little rusty.
What do you got, Kels?
So I was actually thinking about this and I don't know what triggered it one day. I was probably lit and I was like, huh. So would you rather every day you wake up to house roulette? It could be so every time you wake up, you're in a different set and setting. It could be a mansion, it could be a hut, it could be a shanty, it could be, you know, your own house,
Is it a
anything.
different location every time? Like a different
Absolutely. It
Okay.
could be anywhere. So your possibilities are endless. You could wake up in like a box on the side of the freeway. Or every time you open the fridge,
Well, you
it's
really
fridge.
sold that one for us.
Or every time you open the fridge, it's fridge roulette.
Yeah.
So like
It could be
you open the
worms.
fridge, it could be like a steak dinner that you get to make, or it's like
Make.
bam.
And then we make masubi.
Never had that, but I'm down to try.
All right. And yeah, yes. It feels like a absolute no-brainer for me because I basically play fridge roulette every day anyways, but
That's
having
true.
someone else decide it sounds way better.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. But the waking up in a different house every time, like, I don't know. I can't wake up in a box on the side of the road. Like I can't. That was the nail in the coffin. I was like, ooh, a hut? Maybe that'd be cool. And I was like, a box? Nah. I'd
Okay,
rather eat worms. I don't
let's
really eat anyways.
let's take away a box then. Maybe it's got like an actual you own the property, like it's got like a title to the house, a deed, not a title.
Oh, it's got a deed. Okay, well, in that case, fridge roulette. Give me fear
Still
factor,
pretty low.
baby.
I think based on just like income inequality throughout the world, it's gotta be fridge roulette. Like, there's definitely gonna be so many things that I'm not stoked to eat, but I'd rather wake up in my own house and suffer through whatever meal than shoot my shot on, you know,
That was
dilapidated
kinda my
housing.
vibe too, and then I was thinking, I'm like, "Well, Kels lives nothing more than a nest." So, like, I can't imagine a world in which you'd choose the first one. But
I
then I was kind of
know.
like, "Ooh, what if I'm in my travel girl era and I'm in a different country every day of the week?" 2026 foreshadowing. Just kidding.
Right. Right. Like, what if you wake up in a Bali hut and you're, like, stoked?
Yeah. Honestly, I can name a few people who would really take that one, and for that reason, I'm kind of considering it, but then I'm like, I don't know.
It's
Fridge
too
roulette.
risky.
It's too risky, and fridge roulette seems way more fun. Just someone
Yeah,
else deciding my meals. But
yeah. Well, let's get into today's topic.
let's
Why
do it.
starting is not the hardest part. What is the hardest part?
Yeah. We always are like, make a big deal about New Year's. We're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get all these, new gym membership and go start training. And I'm stoked for you. If you are one of those people, you're like, I got my Planet Fitness $25 a month black card. Hello. Then I'm so excited for you. Like, I genuinely am so excited. And that's why we're doing this podcast, because we want you to stay there. Okay.
Mhm.
Starting is not the hardest part. Starting is actually the fun part. You're excited. You've got a new outfit from Christmas, you downloaded a new program from a cool coach you saw on Instagram. Maybe you vowed to like start a 75 hard or something. You just feel empowered. It like feels like a clean slate. But what happens is if you don't fully step into that version of you, then that version's kind of hard to follow through for the long term unless you have like habits built in for that identity.
Right. So, like, when we're looking at what it actually takes, I think people get intimidated by how high the mountain is. Like we talked about in our previous episode of Who is the New You? You said at the end, like, you get to this point after the excitement settles and you're looking up at like just how far you have to go, whether it's lose 40 pounds or deadlift 300 pounds. You're like, fuck, how am I going to do this? But the mountain is always gonna be there, and like you said at the end of that episode too, like, we really have to keep our head where our feet are, and we need to stay at the base of that climb and just put one foot in front of the other.
And that does remind me of actually one of my favorite books from last year, which is The Mountain Is You. And that is
Ooh.
exactly what we're saying here is that the mountain seems thrilling, it seems exciting, da da da. But then when the mountain becomes you, when you, that 6 inches between the ears, between the, your little brain space starts to get a little squirrely,
Mhm.
and your first obstacle presents itself, or the first doubt, like, can I keep this up? Like, can I actually keep doing this? Or like, maybe you don't even know it's self-sabotage, and it's like, "Oh, I certainly can't do this. I've always been the XYZ girl. I can't
Yeah,
certainly make this change," because sometimes we tether ourselves to those things.
yeah,
So,
and you've said this before too, where you said, "Do the next needed thing," or "Do the next best thing,"
next best
right?
thing. Yes.
Like, okay, so if you're having a panic and you're like, "Should I go to the gym or should I go home? Should I go to the grocery store? What should I do?" Just do one thing. If you don't have time for meal prep and gym, maybe go to the grocery store, park a little farther, do get a little more steps in, set your alarm early so you can go crush that workout. Find ways that you can work around that still is getting you towards that mountain peak.
And if you're someone like me all of last year who found themselves in that position where you're like this Tasmanian devil of decisions, you're like, I can't figure out what's best, what's what, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I don't even know what the best next decision is. If you're in like burnout freeze mode like I was,
Right.
really hear me say this, the best next thing is to either go hug somebody because physical touch makes you not panic, or two, just go outside. Like truly anything you have to do, whatever
Yeah.
the next best thing is something that's outside, whether it's the next productive thing or not.
Yeah.
And here's the wild
I'll
thing. The difference between people who actually crest the summit and the ones who tap out early, it's not like a physical thing. It's not like doing the thing. It's the inside job, right? And I'm kind of curious to hear a little bit about some goals maybe you have for this year.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that. Like, I've definitely had a lot of overwhelm within the last like week too with New Year's, and I've got all these big ideas and I'm excited, things I want to put out into the world. And, a big thing that I feel that I've been stewing on for like a decade at this point, and I'm like, I just need to do it. But it's like one of those big, hairy, scary goals. And I'm like, oh my God, can I do it? Like, is that feasible? But what I've been doing this week is like just opening the notes in my phone and writing down, okay, Tuesday, here's 5 things that I can do and will do today. If I don't get to them all, great, but it really helps me organize like as a checklist. All right, these are the things that I'm going to do for work today. And then I move on to the next thing, I move on to the next thing, I move on to the next thing. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, wow, I did everything that I wanted to do. And then I do the same thing on Wednesday and then repeat, repeat, repeat.
I think that's really powerful. What you just highlighted is something that I think a lot of us who do get stuck in this kind of overwhelm and burnout mode like I used to, is that I think that I am Beyonce. Well,
Yeah.
yes, we have the same hours in the day. We've heard that before. But
Yeah.
when I put 14 things on my to-do list, there's you're not gonna do 14 things in a day. You're just
No,
not.
no.
But you might do 14 things if those like 4 or 5 big goals that you had, right, are broken down into little 5-minute chunks. In
Right.
that scenario, totally. I love my clients who show me their to-do list and they're like little these like 2 5-minute tasks that just like
Mhm.
are such a no-brainer and so broken down that
Yeah.
that's taking one foot in front of the other. The
Yeah.
other thing, like you said, if you're just gonna keep the 5 things that you need to do and one of them's training, great. If that's your new goal this year, make it first.
Yeah.
Do it before the other 3 burn you out,
Yep.
put it at number 1 because it's gonna take energy to do all 5 of those.
Eat that frog.
Eat that
Do the
frog.
do the hard thing first. Do the thing that you don't wanna do the most first. Even if you're not a morning person, try to be. Just feel it out. Maybe you will be. You never know. Your body will adapt. Get up early, try to get that workout done. You really never know. And then you're going to feel better for it. Just like we said in the Who is the New You
Exactly.
episode, is you're never going to regret a workout. You'll probably regret skipping the gym, but you'll never regret actually getting it done.
Okay, do you know how elitist I feel when
Oh, yeah.
I leave the gym because 'cause
Uh
I'm
huh.
done at 6:30? Do
Yep.
you know the type of power? Like,
Yeah.
I could run through an absolute brick wall, okay?
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I probably have had pre-workout because I will say the 2 biggest hacks for actually getting in morning workouts for me are, 1, laying out my workout clothes and
Mm,
my work outfit ahead of time. I don't
yeah.
even wanna decide what socks I'm putting on, let alone what Nespresso I'm putting in, okay? I
Yeah.
have everything done for me the night before. Second thing is pre-workout. I take
Mm.
non-stim pre-workout because the moment I take a sip, which is 30 seconds after I leave my bed.
Anxiety. Oh.
This is non-stim,
Oh,
non-stim.
okay. Okay.
So it has some beta-alanine, so I take the pre-workout, and then it kind of feels like I'm solidifying, like, "Yes, I'm doing this today."
Right.
So the first thing I think when I wake up is alarm, fridge, and that is the hack. Anyway.
Yep. And then do you outline your breakfast the night before, or do you, like, set out your breakfast for after
Oh,
the
really,
gym?
Kelsey? We're attacking my non-breakfast breakfast right now? No.
Yes!
Well, when yes. So, it goes one of 2 ways. 1, no, I don't. I grab a David's bar and I kiss Zoe goodbye. And the other
Yeah.
one is
I
I'll do
fly
like
by
the
the seat of my pants.
fly by the seat of my pants. Okay. Or I'll get, like, a big mason jar and I'll put half or, like, cup of oat milk, and then I'll fill the rest with water, 2 scoops of protein powder, oatmeal,
Mm,
like dry oats, and then a bunch of seeds, like flaxseed, chia seed, whatever.
yeah.
And sometimes I'll do that, and I really like that, but it's not
Yeah.
real food, so
I love an
doesn't
overnight oats too, and that is my lazy meal that I will bring to work with me because I start sessions at 6 AM, so I'm not a 6 AM workouter, but I do see clients at 6 AM, and if I don't have my breakfast already laid out, I am in trouble.
yeah.
Tell you what, because 'cause I'm there from 6 to 10 straight through, and if I don't eat at least twice in that 4-hour chunk, I'm going to be hell.
Can you tell us what actually does happen? I would like to hear an example, start to finish, of a
Of
day
my
where you forgot.
oh, ooh, it's been a while since I haven't done anything because it's that important to me. Um, but there's probably been a time that I didn't set anything out, but fortunately, past Kelsey is good about planning to, like, fail safes. So I had, like, frozen breakfast sausage not sausages, breakfast sandwiches in my freezer that I was like, "Well, pop this into the defrost, give it a minute, and we're good to go." And I had, like, a protein bar in my backpack, so that was it got me through, but it doesn't feel good. And then it's just, like, one more notch in the reminder bell of, like, I have to do this tomorrow or I can't repeat this cycle. Like, I'm just it's terrible.
Okay, but what does happen? Like, mindset, energy, like, physical, like, what happened to your training? Because this is kinda gonna segue into our next thing about, like,
Yeah.
why it's important to, like, line out these things.
Yeah, I mean, 1, my stomach hurts. 2, I have no energy to, like, talk to my clients and engage when they're I can't be a coach. Like, when they're asking me like, "Oh, how do I do this exercise?" or, "Oh, my shoulder hurts and now I have to pivot the entire program." Like, I have no brain energy to give to coach. And it's the same if even if you're working a desk job, right? Like, if some catastrophic thing happens at work, you need mental energy,
For sure.
food, in order to produce thoughts. Like, you think that it doesn't matter, but it does. If you wanna be in a good mood at work, food. You need food. You heard of the hanger goblin? Yep. Can you guess why? You're hungry.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's another important point to hammer home is that when we don't set ourselves up and like pre-plan, pre-think think these things through, we go based on vibes. And when the
Yeah.
vibes are low, the decisions are bad. Whether
Yeah.
that's how you talk to your boss or with the food that you walk in the door and eat.
Right. And oftentimes you end up eating, like, more later on because you're ravenous and you eat more of the things that you know that aren't conducive for your goals. Like, someone brings donuts to the office and you're like, "Well, now I want 3 of them." So that's 1,000 calories in donuts that you didn't want. Or you forgot your breakfast and you're like, "Shit, I guess I'll just order takeout." So then it's calorie investment and financial investment. There's just all these various ways where you're shooting yourself in the foot when you could just make like a super easy, lazy breakfast or dinner to set yourself up for success.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like, the amount of brain power it takes at, like, 6 p.m. versus 6 a.m. is, like, so different. Like,
Yep.
this morning, I didn't pick out my socks from the night before, and I was like, "I simply don't know what socks to wear." I have
Right.
100 of the same pair of socks. What?
Yep.
What?
I walked into the gym the other day and I was wearing like camo pants and a red top and I was like, this is confusing.
I
Like,
got dressed at 5 a.m.
oh, 100%. I got dressed in the dark. How did this happen? Anyway, this is a perfect segue into motivation because not having food, especially if you're like an evening workouter, you get done with your work session. You're like, the last thing that I want to do is go exert my body even more when I just used all my brain glucoses at work. So, when motivation leaves the chat, I'm sure we've all experienced this, right? Whether it's, acute, where it's one day, or it's chronic, right? Like you're over the New Year's goals and you get to that point in the winter where you're like, I don't want to work out anymore because I feel fine. It's winter. And then summer comes around and you're like, shit, I shouldn't have stopped the gym.
Shit, where did March go?
Yes. So when motivation leaves the chat, you end up neglecting your goals and behaviors that help you reach those goals. Like I said, the winter blues, but here's the thing. Action precedes motivation.
Yes, my
Even if
girl.
even if you don't want to do it, like you always say, just start with the warm up.
Yeah,
Warm up rule. Get
yeah.
on the treadmill, foam roll. Just get moving.
Just what's the best next thing? Sometimes maybe it's going in the tanning bed at Planet Fitness. Maybe that's the best thing, just to get you in there first, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. Warm up a little
Anyways,
bit.
and if you are this, like, new gym girl baddie and you're like, "It's January, I'm listening to Kelsey and Bree," and I'm like, "Yes, this is me. I need this motivation. I'm so afraid of February and March coming and me falling off and da da da." Hear us say, expect what you will consider as a failure. It will feel like a failure. You will feel like shit, maybe. Hopefully not after listening to this episode. But
Yes.
if this goal matters to you and you don't make the right next step, you're going to feel it. And so we want to save you from feeling that way by anticipating it. So instead of being afraid that it's going to happen, let's set you up for success by one, acknowledging that it's going to happen and then choosing whatever that best next step is going to be. If you're like, I'm swearing off sugar, well, the next time someone brings cookies into your office, you need to have a decision already made because chances are you're going to be going through stuff. Life's going to keep going. You're going to
Yep.
keep having obstacles. You're going to have fights with your partner. Things are going to happen. But
Yeah.
if you can already plan for those obstacles that you know what your obstacles are. The ladies listening to this podcast, we've been shooting ourselves in the same foot for a couple times. It's okay for you to anticipate it and then have a best next step.
I've been thinking about it a lot for my own goals too, where I have a step goal, right? Like this is somewhat new for me. And I've like, especially you being in town, I was like, I am way more sedentary than Bree. You love to walk. I was like, fuck, I gotta like up my steps a little bit.
We must put this on the episode.
Oh,
This little
absolutely.
sidebar feels like exactly what people need to be hearing.
100%. So, one, you inspired and influenced me to step more, to walk more. And it's
Can we call
important,
it step
right?
though? Because you sound like Jane Fonda and I love it.
Still call it what?
Jane Fonda, like how her step class, like I need to
Yeah.
step more. Okay, but yes,
Yeah.
continue.
I want my steps. So yeah, I set a goal like at least, I'm going micro goal. I set it at least 3 times a week. I want 6 to 8,000 steps. So that way if I do more, great. And I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, while I do the steps, I also want to listen to a podcast at least once a week or an audiobook. I'm open to whatever that looks like. But I'm like, okay, let's say there's a day that I'm like, all right, it's not happening today. That's okay, right? Because at the end goal, I want to like increase my movement overall. One day isn't just like, one day is not the make or break. It's okay, tomorrow. Oh, and what I was going to say is, discipline is a muscle, right? Like if you fall off one day, just like strength training, you have to actively, consistently work that same muscle. So the next time you're presented with, should I do this thing? Should I not do this thing? How you make that choice, if you continue to fall into your usual routine of, well, I said I missed yesterday, so it's all fucking a wash. I'm the worst person in the world.
Yep, I might as
Okay,
well fuck it up and have a Big Mac.
then that's going to be your trajectory. But the
Yeah,
more you practice, all right, yesterday I really fucked up. It's really important for me today. And then establish why that goal is important. Just like with the breakfast, right? Like I missed a breakfast one time. The why is I need to be present at work.
right.
I cannot like sacrifice that.
Yeah.
If yours is the gym, okay, skip the gym yesterday. It is that much more important for me to go today because I am someone who works out. I am someone who takes care of my body. I'm someone who wants to jump in waterfalls and climb over rocks and be this active, inspirational person that other people in maybe in my family or my siblings can look up to, or my friends. That's what's important, right? Like it's not those like micro, yes, no, I went to the gym today. It's not binary. You get to choose and practice that discipline every single time you're presented with a choice.
And don't let one bad day turn into 100 bad days, because that's
Right.
not your that's your shame talking. That's not your willpower, right? Like when you fuck it up for a day and then you don't come back for another day or two, that is not because you have poor willpower. That is because we are taking on energy from something else where you're like, yep, see, of course I was going to fuck it up, or like, I knew this would happen. The number of times that I have heard patients or clients say, "Oh, this is gonna be really bad," before they even, like, do an air squat. I'm like, "Do you even know? Like, have you done air squats before? Like, do
Right.
you even know, like, have you worked out in front of a mirror before?" And they
Yeah.
all say no. So I'm like, "You don't need so you're nervous about me judging you, or are you nervous about you judging you?" And I think if you are this new gym girly right now, you're stepping in, you're really excited, you think it's gonna really stick this time, we also think it's going to stick too. And it's going to stick when you pre plan for obstacles. And it's not even the obstacle that it's going to be, it's how your brain handles, oh shit, something just got in the way of the only way I know how to do this new thing. That's your opportunity to find a new way to do that thing.
Right. Which makes me think of a post I saw honestly this morning that shook me. I
Okay.
had one tear in my
I
eye.
came
I was
here
like, "Oh,
from you.
oh, oh." I was like, "Oh fuck. I need to save this. This is the best piece of advice I've ever seen." And it was so prudent for like the things that I'm feeling right now too with
Okay.
like my big goal that I talked about. I'm not ready to share, but
Okay.
um I saw a post and it said the universe rewards delusional optimism. So that looks like visualizing the future you want before you think about what's in the way. So when we think about obstacles first, your brain hears reasons to quit. When we think about success first, your brain treats obstacles as solutions to find. So, what you allow first, whether it's the dream or the obstacle, determines if it comes true or not. And I had this like aha moment where I was like, that's so fucking true. All you have to do, just like with the podcast, like we talked about on our like unwrapped episode, was like, you can figure things out. All anything your goals are is problem solving. Maybe you need a little more help sometimes, in which case you reach out to a coach, if it's a fitness goal, right? If you have a business goal, find a mentor. If it's starting a podcast, find someone of your friends who started a podcast.
Right.
Anything you have in front of you that is daunting and scary, one, is worth having. And two, you can figure it out.
I mean, mic drop. I love that can you send that to me? What? I love the idea of, like, a delusional
I think I
optimism.
did send it to you.
Okay, well, I also haven't been on Instagram in a while because life's going crazy, but what I will say is that when you step into an identity or first of all, even rewind, like, I have this goal, I want this thing, I don't care what it takes, it's that important to me. It's, like, very adjacent to that urgency you feel if, like, your partner is like, "I need you," you're like, "I will literally handstand walk 2 miles to get to you."
Yeah. What do you need? Yep, I'll
So,
be there in 5.
if right now, even in January, that goal doesn't really make you leap out of bed, it's okay. We're still in January. You can still change that goal. You can modify it,
Yep.
but you have to be aligned to the identity who would leap out of bed for that goal. If
Yeah.
you don't love weight training right now, that's okay. You're going to learn to love it, but you have to leap out of bed like you do.
Maybe if you don't love weight training, it's because you're doing Orange Theory or F45 and you need to
Calling it weight
find like
training.
a real strength training routine. Because, shameless plug, I have worked with women for the last 12 years, whether it's one on one or virtually. And one of the things that I pride myself on is that people that work with me, they continue strength training long after they leave me. I love that. That's my goal. I want people to continue working out long after you're done with coaching because it's good for you. It's not because it's good for my pockets. Of course, like this is my business. I have to make money, but I want everyone listening to this podcast and everyone that I work with, and honestly, everyone in the world to feel good and be healthy and live lavish, full lives, right? That's what we're here to do.
Yeah. And you've said this before that muscle is your insurance policy, strength is your
Yes.
insurance policy. And against all odds, there's only really one thing that stands in your way. It's just like the knowing. Because you have the ability. It's just the knowing. When
Yep.
you know to the very deepest cell of your body that your identity is that fitness forward, strong girl, the person that people look up to at the office, the person that people ask what they eat at the gym. If you want to be that person, you have to start acting that way too. And I think that what like you said, having a coach when you're like kind of scared and kind of nervous and
Yep.
maybe don't know if you can do it. That's
Yep.
the perfect time to invest, and I'm using that word, invest in a coach because we don't want you to stay with us forever. I
Yep.
want more than anything for you to not need me, but keep staying around because you want me. And you
Right.
love talking about your fitness now so much with someone who's a like-minded person who just gets it. That's why I want you to stick around.
Yeah, and to that point, there's a difference between people who want training, they want workouts, and people who want lifestyle change, right? Like, I was talking to Seth about this because I've had a lot of messages of people just point blank saying, "What are your rates?" And that's fine. I'm okay with that. And I'm going to be fully transparent because one of the worst things in the world is like, you ask for a price and they give you this fucking runaround sales thing. I don't want to jump on a call, just tell me how much you cost. I get it. But at the same time, the same people who are like, "How much is it?" I'm like, "Well, based on your question, it's probably going to be too much for you because your main concern is cost." And that's okay. There are trainers, they're probably younger, who are more affordable. That's great. But it's an investment
Or
because
it's
a
more
coach
affordable because you're getting something that's rinsed and repeated and repeated and repeated, and there's benefit to that too, but that's
sure,
what you're getting.
but the high quality coaches are selling an experience. You're getting coaching. You're not getting workouts. You're getting coaching
You're getting a
because
relationship,
you're
and
getting a relationship.
oftentimes the most important relationship in your life too, or one of the most important relationships.
Right. I was working with one of my clients this morning and I was like, all right, on your New Year's resolution is to contact your PC to get into a physical therapist. She's been having a lot of elbow pain. And I'm like, look, I can do so much in the gym that we can work around, things we can do, but you need to go get this handled. So, on your bucket list of the next week, I need you to contact your PC. And she's like, wow, you're helpful in so many ways. I'm like, yeah, because it all comes down to the way that you live your life. If you're living your life in pain, if you're living your life making choices that don't help you feel better, and you're not having a coach that's like talking about that with you, That you're not getting coaching, you're getting workouts.
And if you're gonna pay for workouts, pay for workouts. If you're gonna pay for coaching, pay for coaching. And
If you
it
wanna pay for workouts, go to F45 or Orange Theory and then be frustrated when you don't see results. That's the
right,
truth. That's the tea.
right. And I do think it's an important part of your journey to learn. The people who There's a lot of people out there who think they know a lot, and that's fine. But if you are that person, you're like, man, this is year 4 of trying to lose 10 pounds, you need a coach. Come on by it, even if it's just for a couple months. Some of us coaches actually appreciate when clients are like, I just need this for a little catalyst. I
Yeah.
love that. I've had clients like that in the past. I've also not taken clients like that in the past. I've also taken clients like that and they've stayed for 3 years. But
Yep.
the first 3 months, the first 90 days is the most important part for you as the client and for me as the coach. My job is to build as much trust and
Yep.
build as much safety that you can fail, learn, ask silly questions, and feel ultra vulnerable in 90 days, 30 days usually.
Yeah.
That's my job as a coach, is to get you to face your own shit. And
Right.
your job as the client is to face that shit and be honest with us and surface it. And sometimes you don't need a whole year contract for that. Like you said, do you want to lose body fat or do you want a lifestyle change?
Yeah.
You can have both, but usually people want one or the other.
Right.
And if you want to lose body fat, you can probably do that in a couple months. But if you want a lifestyle change, it's going to take longer.
If you've got good coaching, maybe.
Exactly. And for good reason.
Yeah. One of the things that is on our list to talk about today is when suffering becomes an identity. And I think a lot of people get stuck there, right? Like we've talked a lot about in our previous episodes of you have to like identify with the person that is making these goals. And I can think of a few situations in the past where I've worked with people and they just kind of accept that they're just going to be overweight and then they make the decisions that keep them stuck. But then they're frustrated and they want to lose weight. And I'm like, okay, these are the things that we have to do. And you really have to work that discipline muscle. And the reality is, it can't all be me, the coach, or you, Brie. It's got to come from you. You have to decide, all right, I believe that I can do this time. You can't just accept this is how life is, or this is just who I am, or this is my genetics. You can't accept that.
Yeah.
Don't accept that. Like, you deserve so much more.
Right. And when that suffering becomes like your identity and you're like, this, it feels really weird and dysregulating to be eating a lot more protein and to be going for a walk after work instead of happy hour. It feels weird. It feels icky. And you know
Yeah.
what? It doesn't feel as fun. Okay. You're not going to get the dopamine hits that you used to the first day or two, but after a while, you will get that same level of dopamine that you got from going to happy hour as you will to going to the gym after work.
Yeah.
And that becomes your identity. And sometimes I think we get stuck in the like, oh, that's just how life is. Oh, that's just how it is. And that's just such a fixed mindset. And
Yeah.
I can never get behind that. You are always in power of changing your reality and changing what's happening.
And
Even
to that point, I feel like this is where community comes in. Community is so important. It could be a fitness community, like CrossFit was really good for that, even though like you and I have our own opinions about CrossFit.
for sure.
Just the
But for community,
fitness industry at large, great community. Who you surround yourself with has so much impact on your decisions and the beliefs that you are. Like you and I are surrounded by so many people doing cool shit, excelling. I would say 80% of our friends own their own businesses. They're all fit because we all care about our health because we all fortunately met everybody in the gym. So that's helpful. But like even if you're new to the gym, you'll meet people. You'll
right.
find people along the way. You'll shed people along the way. You have to really get real with like who is helping me be my best self, who's calling me forward, and who's holding me back. Because
Yeah.
here's the thing. I don't know if you've ever heard the metaphor about crabs in a bucket. If you put crabs in a bucket, they will try to pull the other crabs back down. You don't want to be around crabs.
No,
Be around let's play mermaids. Be mermaids, okay?
I want to play mermaids with you in every waterfall ever. How romantic is that?
Thanks. Same. I didn't have
I
an alternative metaphor, but,
not the crabs in the bucket. I love that. I actually didn't know that, and I have heard that saying, but I am notorious for either screwing up sayings or just not knowing. Mixing them up, I'll, like, piecemeal them together, like, that's not how it goes.
yeah.
But this is so how does change actually work, and how do we actually change this identity? It works in 3 parts from fastest to slowest. The first one is the fastest, and that's spiritual. Like, you have to conceptualize the fact that this person is now your identity. But you just conceptualizing that and like manifesting her and thinking about her and holding her is the quickest. You can feel that in your bones. You have a muse. You can act like her. Then there's the emotional side of things. And that's relatively fast, but it takes a long time for you to be right with the fact that you've changed. And if you mess up, that doesn't mean that this new identity is gone. Okay. It
Yeah.
just means even the people that are your muse and have the body and the life and the career and the money and the cool that you want, they also have failed. So don't
Mhm.
measure yourself against this, right? Don't let the thief of joy and the comparisons the thief of joy, like I said to you. It's like when we see other people crushing it who we like really respect and appreciate, we also don't see their closet, but we live in our closet.
Right.
Right? So then the physical side is the slowest part. And that's the most exciting part to see. But, you felt this before in your changes in your fitness journey. It's like mentally, I'm like, yep, I'm that baddie because I went and did that workout. I feel like that baddie. But then I look in the mirror and I'm like, shit, it hasn't changed yet. And
Yep.
so people oftentimes feel an emotional breakthrough and then expect this like immediate physical transformation. But neurons are wire through repetition and reps matter. And those reps matter everywhere, not just in the gym. How
Yeah.
you do one thing is how you do everything, right, Kels?
That's right. I always say that. And I think a lot of people like misrepresent or misinterpret resistance. They think like, "Oh, if I'm getting resistance, that means it's not working or
It's
it's
not
not
meant
worth
for
it.
me.
It's not meant for me," right? Like if you don't lose weight immediately, like this isn't Amazon Prime. Like buckle in, babe. It's going to take a while. So it can feel like something is wrong, which is not. I think as society, we think that everything needs to be this instant gratification thing when reality is what we desire is on the other side of a long road of discomfort. And that's failing, that's plateauing. It's not a stop sign. It's more like a yield. It's more like a long road with I don't know if you've ever driven in the Midwest, but there is not a lot in the way. There's no stoplights, there's no stop signs, there's no speed bumps. It's just road. And that's what your journey is.
Okay, I'm gonna like semi disagree because I agree with what you're saying, but I disagree a little with the tone because people listening to this right now are really pumped about their new year, new me moment, and we are celebrating that. But
Yes.
your journey doesn't have to feel so hard. It actually might feel less hard the more you are on it, right? So if we actually remove those barriers in the beginning, now in January, then we can actually speed up. And like you said, you have to just embrace that these things are going to be a challenge, but they don't have to always feel like a challenge. And in fact, when you are stepping into this identity, your life starts feeling weird without them, right? Like when you
Mhm.
first started eating like more protein, it was like, I can't eat all this much, yada, yada, yada. But now you're
Yep.
like, I feel like a bitch if I don't have 50 grams of protein for 10
Yep.
a.m.
Yep.
And it's a
100%.
knowing. And that's where the knowing comes from.
Mhm. Yep.
So let's talk
True.
about a little action plan.
So, here's your checklist if you don't want to fall into the early February goal graveyard.
It's 3 steps. First of all, you have to decide what your like goals are. You have to decide what it needs to take. What are the routines? What are the things we're going to lock into? You got to like name them, write them, know them, right? Know what those goals are that you really, really want to achieve. Now, next, you're going to hit a roadblock. It's going to happen. So you need to, one, acknowledge what your usual roadblocks are, two, anticipate it. And then when you feel it, not treat it as a stop sign, but just treat it as some feedback. right? Same thing that we say, like, when your back hurts. It's like, okay, well, your back's not broken, probably. It just is like telling you to do something about it. And so
Yep.
when you notice this resistance, it's the universe encouraging you to do something different to try to get the same result, to prove to you that you can. And then the third thing is repeat, repeat, repeat. Because like I said, rewiring does take reps. And the more reps you do, like progressive overload, feel easier and easier. And the more you feel like that boss baddie who crushes her goals without any obstacles.
Absolutely. And this is the real work of change, not the start, but the staying power. Now, let's go climb your mountain.
Yes. And please remember that growth is not meant to be instant. Like, you are not going to have that six pack in 3 days, but resistance also isn't the enemy. It's your guide. So lean into the guide, take action, and let your neural pathways do the rewiring.
If this episode resonated with you, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next one. And as a little special treat for the new year, we made something for you. We put together a free download called the New Year Best You Playbook. It's a simple guide to set identity based goals, map out your habits, and get clear on who the new you is without overwhelming yourself.
It's packed with actionable tools to help you move from motivation to mastery. And we believe in you. You got this. And keep climbing, keep showing up. And as always, please connect with us on Instagram at over_thinking podcast, at Brianna Lamb, and at Kelsey Michelle. And we will see you in the
In the
next
next episode.
episode.